What's up, Reapers? My name's Seth, and we are back again with some more Trove to Drove, and today we're going to be talking about Adventurine and Clubits and how you actually grind them, because my other video is completely out of date now. So originally there was kill 300 enemies, kill 100 enemies, kill 200 enemies, stuff like that. We could just go to a kill 30 enemy dungeon and keep killing the enemies over and over. That has been patched. But then there was also defeating like certain dungeon bosses specifically. And if you ended up actually finding that boss with the rare ability of being able to spawn their own little minions, you could just keep killing their minions over and over again to complete the quest. That has been patched as well. So there's a couple different ways that you can end up getting Adventurine right now that are not as good as those methods, but it's still not too bad. First of all, we're going to be talking about the one that you get in the club right here, but then we're also going to be talking about the adventures quest that you can end up getting from like being out in the Luminopolis biome and stuff like that. So first of all, you gotta have yourselves the Trove of Heroes, which is this bad boy right here. You gotta have it at level 2 in a club, which means that you have to have the requirements for it, which you need to have like pretty much like 8,000 Adventurine or something like that, and then otherwise the fixture itself. Does it say what level we need to actually be in order to place down the Trove of Heroes, or is it just outright like, oh, this is it and you've got it, right? Okay, it doesn't seem to say the level. Well, either way, I'll end up putting text on the screen that's going to talk about the level that you need for the Trove of Heroes. You gotta get it to level 2, and then you're gonna have a rare chance of getting not only this guy right here, but a couple other NPCs that are gonna be for the appropriate elemental world. Now, this is pretty much the best Adventurine farming that you can do in the game right now. Also, it's going to end up doubling as getting a bunch of club experience as well, and then just working towards the Clubit ratio and blah, 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 blah. So what these guys want you to do is go into an elemental adventure world, depending on which Uber that is. They're going to end up mentioning, like with this guy, Uber 3 and above for the water world. And then all you gotta do is get 5 gem boxes. Just 5 water gem boxes. That's it. And then you end up coming back into the world to end up starting a new quest, because obviously the quest is going to end up completing as soon as you end up meeting that criteria, right? And if you have Patron, you're going to end up getting 71 Adventurine per, which is pretty crazy, honestly speaking. But there's a little trick that you can end up doing to make the grinding a little bit easier. You can see that Guest is actually doing it right now. I love that he's got that name, and he clearly is like actually playing this game because he has the divinity costume for the night. So what you're going to end up doing here, folks, is while you're out in a water world just grinding and stuff like that, you complete your first quest. Then you're going to type /getWorldID, one word, and that's going to end up automatically copying the world ID to your clipboard. This does work on console as well if you end up having a keyboard plugged in and stuff like that, right? So then what you're going to do is go back to your club world, end up getting the quest, and then you're just going to end up typing in /go-to-world, one word, space, and then you just paste the ID that you ended up getting. There's going to be a minus and then a whole bunch of random numbers. That's going to warp you right back into the world that you were just in. So you can just kind of continue your grind from that point on, getting more and more gem boxes over and over again, and so on and so forth, right? So now let's move on to the resistor guys, which means I gotta go and find one of their quests in the Luminopolis. So in a Luminopolis biome, you're going to be looking for this particular thing right here. Not necessarily this specific build, but they're going to end up standing out like a sore thumb, and they're going to look like this on the map. This is going to end up being where a bunch of resistor quests are going to end up being, and you can complete 220 of these within a day and get roughly 15,000, close to 16,000 Adventurine. I think that's depending if you have Patron, but you can see right here, defeat enemies in Luminopolis. So you can go and do that, and that's going to end up not only giving you, the quest completion, which ultimately is just going to end up giving you the Adventurine, but also is going to end up giving you a bunch of XP as well. So one of the biggest things, this is kind of one of the best ways of getting XP in the game right now, is you can end up doing these guys' quests in U9 if you end up actually finding them, and then you're going to end up getting lots of experience from it. So this is actually the big guy right here. So craft a memory matrix. So the way that you would have to do that is by the resistors crafting bench, but essentially it means that you could end up, whoopsie daisy, I didn't need to take the portal, go over to here, and then you just material, and he wanted a resistors matrix, which I can't actually craft right now. That's quite expensive. In a lot of cases, you'll actually find an NPC that'll just want a certain amount of plasmium or some other type of resource, and this is where things can end up getting kind of cool, because hopefully it doesn't end up getting nerfed as I talk about this, but what you can end up doing is you can end up opening scrap boxes or lesser neon caches to end up getting the resource that these quest NPCs require, right? So what you can end up essentially doing is just standing and camping here while you buy a bunch of scrap boxes off of other players, and then just keep opening the boxes, getting the rewards, perpetually completing all the 220 quests. I've seen lots of people actually completing the amount of quests. Like, it goes by real quick, and you end up getting not only a ton of Adventurine, but more importantly, lots of XP. Like I said, probably one of the best ways of grinding XP in the entire game, which I'm going to end up eventually having a separate video than this one that's going to most likely talk about just the Luminopolis NPCs specifically. But as of right now, I just wanted to have this as a quick little video kind of explaining how you can end up getting your Adventurine both in a club world and if you're actually not a part of a club world. But honestly speaking, there's not really any reason for you to grind Adventurine if you're not in part of a club world, because what Adventurine is used for, just for anybody that's just tuning into this tutorial and hasn't seen any of my older ones, is you're going to be using Adventurine on the club merchant or just the merchants in the hub. I guess you could end up using the Adventurine on that if you wanted. I'll show where they are just because nobody seems to know where they are anymore, or maybe it's just that nobody really cares. But this is going to end up being the club merchant right here. As you level him up in a club world, you're going to have access to a bunch of different items. More notably, the dragon fragments for Blocktron are going to be super expensive. Don't forget that you can scroll down as well, and all of these things are going to end up giving you mastery. And then also, if you have a tier 3 merchant, you can actually, forge your Adventurine into Clubits, and this is going to end up being a better ratio than exchanging it over at the vault. So you'll see in most instances, like we've got right here, this is the exchanger right here. We have it completely blocked off so nobody can end up using it. So if you want to actually get Clubits to help your club world, you're going to end up going over to the merchant here to exchange it first. Then you're going to deposit it into the vault, and then you're ultimately going to end up getting more Clubits that way than you would exchanging them at the actual vault. So let's hop over to the hub real quick so I can end up showing you the other NPCs. This is, I guess, if you're not in a club world by any means and you want to just grind up the Adventurine, then you could go up to these guys. This guy's just got decor items, which is absolutely useless. And then this guy's got pretty much the starting items that the club merchant is going to end up having. So you can actually buy quite a few of these things. Honestly, I would recommend the aura for the head is actually really cool, while also giving a pretty decent amount of mastery. And then for some weird reason, we got a Clubit minting machine here as well that you can convert your Adventurine into. But again, if you end up having a club that has a merchant tier 3, you want to use that one. Even if you want to go to a club that has like the tier 3, like this is kind of what the end game is you'll end up searching for a club that has the NPCs for the elemental quest, right? And you're just going to end up completing their quest regardless. It's not going to end up giving experience to your club world, though. It's going to be giving experience to the club that you are actually completing the quest for. So you do got to keep that in mind. But one thing that you can do is go to a club that has a tier 3 merchant, exchange your Adventurine for Clubits, and then you could just donate those Clubits to your own club. It would be more beneficial to do that than try to, do it legit and exchange everything in your own club vault, right? So that's kind of why it's a big deal that Team Pixel now has access to these merchants right here, because we're going to start seeing a lot more people just coming through just casually to try and complete the quest, right? And it's really cool. In either case, I gotta get to grinding all this stuff, and then otherwise, thanks so much for watching. Very much appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, favorite, and subscribe for more daily content. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and if you want to support me, you can always sponsor my YouTube channel or check links in the description for my merch store where you can buy this shirt and a bunch of other stuff, or you can check out Gawkbox, which is a way you can donate to me for free. Sign over and stay epic, everybody.